Hi, it's T. Carlson here. In the latter half of the first decade of the 2000s, Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice reunited with Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler under the name Heaven and Hell. This, of course, was one of the lineups of Black Sabbath that have existed in the past, but they used the name Heaven and Hell to differentiate themselves from the better-known Ozzy Osbourne incarnation of the band. And several years back, we got a Blu-ray release of this concert. This is Heaven and Hell live at Radio City Music Hall. I'm going to unbox this release and I will share my opinions. Great close-up there featuring the band on stage at Radio City Music Hall. I got drummer Vinny Appice to autograph this when I met him several years ago. Here's our spine text. That covered the track list. I also got keyboardist Scott Warren to autograph that as well. He also played keyboards with Dio's solo band as well. Inside the package, we got a pretty nice insert here. Great shot of the exterior of Radio City Music Hall. Inside the package, we have our actual Blu-ray disc. There's a panning shot of the band on stage. Like I said, this Blu-ray disc is a concert of Heaven and Hell playing live on stage at Radio City Music Hall, one of the most famous music venues in the world. And of course, the band is firing on all cylinders. At this point, they'd reunited and they'd put out a Dio Year's Best of compilation that included 3 new songs. So here we get a combination of tracks from the original 2 albums they recorded back in the early 80s, Heaven and Hell and The Mob Rules. There's also some tracks from Dehumanizer, which was the reunion album they did in the early 1990s. And then, of course, some of those tracks from the Dio Year's compilation. So you do get a pretty nice assortment of stuff here, and it's all performed very well. Sadly, Ronnie James Dio would die about 3 years later of stomach cancer, one of the all-time great losses in the music community. But I am happy to see that this chronicle of him live on stage with his Black Sabbath bandmates is as great as ever. And it's a fantastic lineup. Tony Iommi, of course, always the riff master. He's the only guy that appears on every single Black Sabbath album. Got Geezer Butler holding down the low end as only he could. And Vinny Appice, even though he tends to be lost in the shadow of Bill Ward when it comes to the Black Sabbath mythos, he's every bit the drummer Ward is, and this guy is certainly a showman when he has to be. Great drummer, and of course his brother is Carmine Appice, also an excellent drummer. Great lineup, great concert. It's certainly worth getting if you're a fan of Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, Dio, what have you, anything in between. The picture quality in here is surprisingly good for a music Blu-ray. There are obviously going to be some limitations with the lighting and movement of the band members and everything, but it's about as good as we can expect it to look. And I'm happy to see that they actually did put some bonus features on here. There's a Remembering Ronnie James Dio featurette. There's a featurette on getting set up Radio City Music Hall for the gig, some road movies from behind the scenes, and a few other things. So it's a pretty nice package, and I'm glad to see it's not bare bones. If you're a fan of Ronnie James Dio, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, this one absolutely belongs in your collection. How about you? Are you a fan of Black Sabbath? Are you a fan of this Heaven and Hell incarnation of the band with Ronnie James Dio? Did you get this Radio City Music Hall Blu-ray yet? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for content because I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.